Teachers are busy, multifaceted, resourceful performers as they go about orchestrating their lessons in their classrooms. They have to be. Let's explore some of the skills teachers need to be effective educators as they communicate with their students, regardless of the level of education or subject being taught. I'll give you an overview of this educational model now, and later we'll go into more detail. The first skill a teacher needs to employ involves establishing a positive learning climate in the classroom. Any ideas what this might mean?
Making things interesting?
Okay, and how might a teacher do that?
Get the students involved, like you're doing now.
Yes, active participation. Not just lecturing at students the whole time. Of course, some lecturing may be appropriate. In that case, the teacher can still make things interesting by not talking in a monotone, and by bringing up interesting examples, and so on. I like the term climate. How encouraging the atmosphere is in a classroom determines how learning will take place. Another skill teachers use is goal setting. To a large degree, this skill has been institutionalized in recent years by the focus on developing learning objectives for the classroom. But for goal setting to be effective, teachers need to both know how to set goals that have meaning for students, and they need to find ways to express these goals to the students. The key is to keep making goals sufficiently behavioral in nature. Of course, goals are only of value if the teacher knows to what extent they are being accomplished. This brings us to the teacher's skills at evaluating students in both formative and summative ways. How do you suppose a teacher might do that? Marilyn?
By giving tests?
Right. Which would be what form of evaluation?
Summative.
Uh-huh. Giving a test at the end of a unit to find out if the learning goals have been met. This is, of course, the traditional form of evaluation, and everyone expects it. Formative evaluation is more ongoing. Every time a teacher asks students a question, he or she has an opportunity to evaluate their knowledge. I just did that, right? I found out that Marilyn knew about summative evaluation. We can further categorize evaluation questions into two kinds, closed-ended and open-ended. I asked how a teacher engages in evaluation. What kind of a question is that?
Open-ended, because it can't be answered by a simple yes or no. You're making the students think.
So, you think students don't have to think to answer a closed-ended question?
No.
Well, there you have it then. The point I'd like to highlight here is the type of thinking one has to do to answer a closed-ended question. Basically, it is a matter of recalling information. An open-ended one, however, pulls much more for higher-level reasoning. One more skill that teachers need is the ability to give feedback to their students. It isn't enough for the teachers to evaluate and know how well the student is doing. He or she needs to communicate that to the student. I'm talking about both the good and the bad. The not so good. The teacher wants students to feel a love for learning. That's the bottom line, I think. Regardless of whether or not students excel in your classroom, each student should leave wanting to learn more about something.